You know that feeling, right? The one that creeps up sometimes, usually late at night, or maybe on a quiet Sunday afternoon when you're scrolling through endless feeds or staring at the ceiling. That feeling of what are we even doing here? It's easy to get caught up in the rush of daily life, the list of things to do, the deadlines, the social obligations, the pressure to be somewhere, achieve something, be someone. We collect tasks, we gather possessions, we chase milestones, but beneath it all, that quiet little question persists. What's the actual, deep down, meaningful point? And maybe that's the real journey, isn't it? Not just getting through the day or the week or hitting the next level in whatever game we're playing, whether that's career, fitness, or just getting out of bed before noon, but trying to figure out what makes it all matter. Because if we're just going through the motions, reacting to whatever pops up, being blown about by every new wind, are we really living? Or just existing? This isn't about having all the answers handed to you, by the way. If someone tells you they have the single, ultimate point figured out, they're probably selling something. Maybe literal snake oil, maybe just a philosophy that works only for them. The point, if there is one universal point, might just be the search itself. The curiosity, the questioning, the willingness to look under the hood of our own lives and maybe, just maybe, try to steer a little bit instead of just drifting. Let's talk about that drifting feeling for a minute. It's so common. You look around and everyone else seems to have their compass pointing north, marching purposefully towards their Everest. Or at least they look like they do on Instagram. Meanwhile, you feel like you're spinning slowly in a kiddie pool, occasionally bumping into the inflatable whale. Comparison is the thief of joy, they say. And boy, are there a lot of thieves in this modern world. We are constantly, relentlessly bombarded with curated highlights, with finished products, with victories presented without the struggle. It's easy to feel inadequate, directionless, even like a failure, simply because your behind the scenes isn't as polished as someone else's highlight reel. But here's a fundamental philosophical idea that's been around for thousands of years and still rings true. You only truly have control over a very, very small number of things. Most things, totally outside your control. What other people do? Yep, outside your control. The weather, definitely. Global events, obviously. Even your own body eventually. Yep, even that changes whether you want it to or not. So, what can you control? Your thoughts, your actions, your reactions to things outside your control. That's it. That tiny, precious space. And guess what? That's where all your power lies. This isn't some airy-fairy concept. This is practical stuff. Think about it. Something annoying happens. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or you spill coffee on yourself, or you get some unexpected bad news. You can't control the event itself. It happened. Done deal. But you absolutely can control how you respond. Do you spiral into road rage, ruining your whole morning? Or do you sigh, maybe swear quietly to yourself, and then let it go? Do you let the spilled coffee send you into a self-pitying funk? Or do you clean up, change clothes, and move on? Does the bad news send you into a panic you can't recover from? Or do you acknowledge the feeling, process it, and then start thinking about the next step, the action you can take? This is often called the dichotomy of control, and it's a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Not stoic, meaning unemotional and toughing it out, like someone gritting their teeth and bottling everything up. That's a common misunderstanding. Ancient Stoicism was about wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, about understanding the world as it is, focusing your energy where it can actually make a difference. and cultivating inner resilience so external chaos doesn't wreck your internal peace. It's about training your mind to see things clearly and react wisely, not automatically and emotionally. So, self-improvement isn't necessarily about becoming a completely different, flawless person who never gets upset and always knows what to do. It's often about becoming a better observer of yourself, a better manager of that small circle of control. It's about recognizing your patterns. Why do I react this way? What trigger sent me down this road? Is this reaction helpful, or is it making things worse? And once you start observing, you can start intervening. Let's take another common feeling, being overwhelmed. Like there are too many things pulling at you, too many demands, too many choices. This ties into the idea of simplicity. Not necessarily minimalism in possessions, though that can be part of it, but simplicity in focus. If everything is important, then nothing is. If you're trying to go in 5 directions at once, you're likely to stay right where you are, frozen by the complexity. Think about what truly matters to you. Not what society says should matter, not what your parents want, not what your friends are chasing, but what genuinely, authentically aligns with your own evolving sense of what a good life entails. This requires reflection, which in itself is a powerful self-improvement tool, though often overlooked in our action-obsessed world. Just taking 10 minutes to sit quietly, breathe, and ask yourself, how do I actually feel right now? Or what is one thing that would make today a little bit better? Can be profoundly clarifying. Because figuring out what matters means you can start saying no to things that don't. And no is one of the most powerful tools in your self-improvement arsenal. Saying yes to everything because you feel obligated, or you don't want to disappoint people, or because of FOMO, the fear of missing out, is a sure path to being spread too thin, feeling resentful, and losing sight of your own direction. Learning to say no politely, but firmly, to things that drain you or don't align with your inner compass is not selfish. It's self-preservation. It's protecting that limited energy and attention so you can apply it to what truly deserves it, to what will help you grow and contribute in ways that feel authentic to you. Growth, that's a big theme in self-improvement, isn't it? The idea that we should always be improving, getting better, evolving. But what does better even mean? Is it always upwards and onwards? Or is there value in just being, in maintenance, in appreciating where you are right now? Philosophy often challenges these linear, progress-focused ideas. Maybe better isn't about being universally superior or having more achievements. Maybe better is about being more you, more aligned with your values, more aware of your impact, more able to handle the inevitable ups and downs with a bit more grace or resilience. Maybe it's about cultivating wisdom, kindness, patience, qualities that don't always have external metrics or ladder rungs. Think about effort too. We're often told that hard work is the key to success. And yes, effort is important. Deliberate practice helps you master skills. Putting in the hours is often necessary to build something meaningful. But blind effort, just working hard for the sake of working hard, especially if you're heading in the wrong direction or doing something that fundamentally depletes you, isn't productive. It's self-flagellation. It's the difference between training smartly for a marathon and just running until you collapse from exhaustion every day. Smart effort is guided by understanding and purpose, which brings us back to purpose, another big, heavy word. Do you need to have one grand, overarching purpose for your entire life laid out from day one? Most philosophies would say no. Or at least, that's one way to approach it, but maybe not the most common or even the most fulfilling. Existentialism, for instance, suggests that life has no inherent meaning. It's chaotic, absurd, ultimately leading to nothingness. Sounds bleak, right? But the empowering twist is, because there is no given meaning, you are radically free to create your own. Your actions, your choices, the things you commit yourself to, these are what define your life's meaning, not some cosmic predetermination. So if you don't have a singular, life-defining purpose, maybe you have smaller, temporary ones. Maybe your purpose this month is to learn a new skill. Maybe this year it's to build stronger relationships. Maybe today it's just to be fully present during dinner. These smaller, chosen commitments, accumulating over time, can build a sense of direction and meaning, even without a prepackaged destiny. It's an active process, a continuous negotiation with the world and with yourself. How do we navigate this world where meaning isn't handed to us? One way is through understanding complexity and embracing uncertainty. We crave certainty, don't we? We want clear rules, guaranteed outcomes, a roadmap for life. But the world is fundamentally messy and unpredictable. Life throws curveballs. People change. Plans fail. Clinging too tightly to rigid expectations, whether of ourselves or others, is a source of immense suffering. Learning to be okay with not knowing, learning to adapt, learning to improvise, these are crucial skills for navigating a world that doesn't come with an instruction manual. This involves building resilience. Resilience isn't about never getting knocked down. It's about how quickly or how well you manage to get back up. And it's not something you either have or don't. It's like a muscle you can strengthen. How do you strengthen resilience? By exposing yourself incrementally to challenge and discomfort. By learning from failure rather than being crushed by it. By maintaining perspective. By building a support system of relationships. By practicing self-compassion, talking to yourself like you would a friend who is struggling. Because you will struggle. Everyone does. It's part of being alive. The struggles are where the lessons often hide. Consider the idea of comfort zones. We hear a lot about leaving them. And yes, pushing your boundaries, trying new things, taking calculated risks, that's often where growth happens. It's where you discover capabilities you didn't know you had, where you challenge limiting beliefs you hold about yourself. But there's also value in having a comfort zone, a place to retreat, recharge, feel safe. It's a paradox, isn't it? You need safety to venture out, and you need to venture out to expand your sense of safety. So maybe self-improvement isn't just about relentless pushing, but also about smart pacing, about knowing when to rest, when to consolidate, when to heal. It's a rhythm, not just an acceleration. This ties into the philosophical concept of balance or harmony. The ancient Greeks talked about the golden mean, finding the virtue between two extremes. Courage isn't recklessness, too much, or cowardice, too little. It's finding the middle ground. This applies to so many areas of life. Working yourself into burnout isn't dedication, it's imbalance. Being a hermit isn't independence, it's imbalance. Finding a healthy rhythm between effort and rest, between connection and solitude, between pushing boundaries and finding comfort, that's an ongoing practice of seeking your own golden mean. Let's talk about habits. Much of our lives are run by habit, whether we realize it or not. Our routines, our ways of reacting, our patterns of thinking, they're all grooves worn into the pathways of our minds and bodies. And while some habits serve us well, others can keep us stuck or even actively harm us. Trying to make massive, overnight changes is often a recipe for failure because you're fighting against entrenched habit loops. A more effective approach, and one supported by behavioral psychology, is focusing on small, consistent changes. What tiny habit could you start today that would nudge you in a direction you want to go? 5 minutes of reading something uplifting, doing one push-up, meditating for 2 minutes, sending one text of appreciation. These seem insignificant on their own, but consistently practiced, they compound. Over weeks, months, years, these small nudges create significant shifts. It's like steering a massive ship. You don't turn the wheel 90 degrees. You make small, continuous adjustments. The philosophy here is about the power of consistency and the intelligence of small, persistent action over dramatic, unsustainable bursts. And what about relationships? Our connections with others are fundamental to human well-being, yet navigating relationships is also one of the biggest sources of confusion, pain, and conflict. Self-improvement in this area often involves developing better communication skills, learning empathy, understanding boundaries, both your own and others. It's about recognizing that other people have their own internal worlds, their own histories, their own pain, their own perfectly valid to them reasons for behaving the way they do, even when it seems utterly irrational to you. Philosophy can offer frameworks here too. Considering different perspectives, practicing epistemic humility, which is recognizing the limits of your own knowledge and understanding, especially about another person's internal state. Thinking about ethical principles guiding how we treat others. Is it fair? Is it kind? Does it respect their autonomy? These aren't easy questions, and the answers aren't always clear, but asking them regularly helps you interact with more intention and less reactivity. A crucial aspect of dealing with others and with ourselves is the story we tell. Humans are meaning-making machines, and we constantly narrate our experiences. This happened, and it means this about me or this about the world. That person said that, and it means this about our relationship. These stories shape our reality, and often, without realizing it, we tell ourselves disempowering stories. I failed at that, therefore I am a failure. They didn't call back, therefore I'm not important. Recognizing these stories, these automatic interpretations, is a powerful form of self-improvement. Is the story I'm telling myself the only possible interpretation? Is it the most helpful interpretation? Can I choose to tell a different story? Maybe that failure was a lesson. Maybe them not calling back has absolutely nothing to do with my worth, and everything to do with their busy schedule or forgetfulness. Choosing to reframe your narrative, to focus on what you learned, what you can do differently, or simply acknowledging that you don't know the full story, puts you back in that precious circle of control. You control the meaning you assign. And speaking of control and letting go, what about anxiety? That constant hum of worry about the future. Anxiety is often rooted in wanting to control things that are uncontrollable. It's the mind projecting into possible futures, usually worst-case scenarios, and trying to problem-solve them preemptively. The philosophical insight here, echoing the Stoics, is accepting uncertainty. The practical application is bringing yourself back to the present moment. Mindfulness is the self-improvement tool for this, paying attention on purpose, without judgment, to what's happening right now. What do you feel? What do you hear? What do you see? Just grounding yourself in the present deprives anxiety of its fuel, which is usually a feared future. It doesn't make the future problems go away, but it allows you to face the current moment with clarity and presence, which is where all your agency actually exists. You can't act in the past, and you can't act in the future. You can only act now. Learning to inhabit the now is a profound practice. Procrastination. Ah, the beloved adversary. Why do we put off things we know we should do, even things we might want to do, but that feel difficult or unpleasant? Often it's not laziness, it's poor emotion regulation. We're avoiding the negative feelings associated with starting, the fear of failure, the frustration of difficulty, the boredom of drudgery. So we distract ourselves with things that offer immediate, easy comfort. Understanding this helps us combat procrastination. It's not about magically becoming disciplined. It's about learning to tolerate mild discomfort for the sake of a greater reward down the line. It's breaking tasks into smaller, less intimidating steps. It's promising yourself you'll just work on it for 5 minutes. It's creating an environment with fewer distractions. It's recognizing the impulse to avoid and choosing instead to take one tiny step forward, knowing that the feeling of relief and progress, even tiny progress, is often enough to keep you going. This is applying philosophical understanding that actions follow not just reason, but emotion to practical habit change. Creativity. We often think of creativity as something limited to artists or musicians, but creativity is simply novel problem solving, connecting disparate ideas, approaching things differently. It's essential in navigating complex lives and finding new paths when old ones are blocked. Self-improvement through creativity means giving yourself permission to play, to experiment, to be messy, to follow curiosity without a guaranteed outcome. It's pushing back against the pressure to always be efficient, always be productive. Sometimes, unproductive playtime is the most productive thing you can do for your brain and spirit. And vulnerability. Opening yourself up, showing the parts of you that are imperfect, that struggle, that aren't polished and ready for display. In a world that often feels transactional and competitive, vulnerability can seem like weakness. But true connection is built on authenticity, and authenticity requires vulnerability. Sharing your struggles, admitting you don't have all the answers, asking for help. These aren't signs of failure. They're acts of courage that deepen relationships and lighten your own load. Forgiveness is another deep philosophical and practical challenge. Forgiving others who have harmed you, and perhaps even more difficult, forgiving yourself for your mistakes. Forgiveness isn't about condoning bad behavior. It's about releasing yourself from the grip of resentment and bitterness, emotions that only poison you. It's a choice to let go of the past so it doesn't continue to define and harm your present. It's hard work, maybe some of the hardest work there is, and it often requires time, processing, maybe even external support. But the freedom it offers is profound. It's accepting the messy reality that people, including you, are imperfect, will make mistakes, and yet we can choose to move forward with less baggage. What about death? It's a morbid thought, perhaps, but facing the certainty of death can be a powerful catalyst for figuring out the point of it all. Philosophies like existentialism grapple directly with mortality. Recognizing that our time is limited, that none of this lasts forever, can strip away the trivial and highlight what truly matters. It encourages us to live now, authentically, rather than postponing our lives until some mythical future point when everything is perfect. Memento mori, the ancient phrase says, remember you must die. It's not meant to be depressing, but a reminder to live fully today. What would you do differently if you truly, deeply internalized the fact that you won't live forever? How would you spend your time? Who would you spend it with? What risks would you take? What unspoken words would you finally say? This kind of reflection leads back to living with intention, not just letting life happen to you, but consciously choosing your responses, your actions, your focus, based on your values, however fuzzy or clear they may be. It's about being the author of your own story, within the limits of what you can control. So, if there's no single, universal point, and life is messy and unpredictable, and we only control a tiny sliver of it, and we're going to mess up and feel lost and uncertain, then what is the actual point? Maybe the point is just being here, fully, as much as possible, with curiosity, with courage, with kindness towards yourself and others. The point is the journey of learning, not reaching a final, perfect destination. The point is the connections we make, the small acts of creativity or courage or compassion, the quiet moments of presence, the ability to find a flicker of beauty or humor, even in the difficult times. Self-improvement then becomes less about optimizing yourself into a productivity machine or achieving societal benchmarks, and more about cultivating wisdom, resilience, authenticity, and connection. It's an internal landscape you're tending to, making it a place where you can weather the external storms, find moments of peace, and connect meaningfully with the world and the people around you. There's no finishing line to this. You don't win self-improvement. It's not a project to be completed. It's a process to be engaged with daily. Some days you'll feel inspired and on track. Other days you'll feel completely lost, fail spectacularly, and question everything. Both are part of it. The moments of struggle, the times you feel inadequate or uncertain, those are often the moments pregnant with possibility for growth, if you can approach them with a bit of curiosity rather than harsh judgment. So maybe start small. Where are you feeling that quiet dissatisfaction or restlessness? What's one tiny area you could bring a little more awareness to? Is it how you react when someone says something you disagree with? Is it how you feel after scrolling for too long? Is it that persistent feeling of overwhelm? Just notice it. That simple act of noticing, of bringing gentle attention to your inner landscape, is the first step. You don't have to fix it immediately. Just observe. Oh, there's that feeling again. Ah, this is what happens when I do that. And remember, progress isn't linear. You'll take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You'll forget everything you've learned when you're tired, stressed, or triggered. That's okay. That's human. The self-compassion part is crucial. Don't beat yourself up for not being perfect or for not making rapid, continuous progress. Just gently redirect yourself back to the path, back to that small space of control. Maybe self-improvement is less about changing who you are and more about remembering who you already are deep down, beneath all the layers of conditioning, expectation, and fear. Remembering what genuinely lights you up, what kind of person you actually want to be, what kind of impact you want to have, however small. It's about uncovering your core values and trying, imperfectly but persistently, to live in alignment with them. This is where the concept of integrity comes in, too. Living in alignment with your values. It's not about being morally superior, but about being whole, being integrated. When your actions match your words and your deepest beliefs, you build integrity within yourself. And that feeling of coherence is a powerful source of strength and peace. It's often the lack of integrity, doing things we feel are wrong or out of step with our values, that creates internal conflict and unhappiness. So let's loop back to the original question. What's the actual point of all this? Maybe there isn't a single point given to us. Maybe the point is the act of choosing, of creating, of navigating, of connecting, of learning, of failing and trying again. The point is showing up for your own life. The point is cultivating that inner world so it can withstand the external storms and find joy in the quiet moments. The point is finding your way to contribute, however modest, to the messy, beautiful, painful, exhilarating human experience. It's a journey of questions, not answers. A process of unfolding, not a destination. And you're already on the path just by asking the question, just by listening to this, just by having that quiet curiosity inside you. Keep exploring, keep questioning, be kind to yourself. And remember that the smallest step taken consistently, with intention, is more powerful than the most elaborate plan that never gets started. Your life is being created in the small choices you make today, and tomorrow, and the day after that. There's power in that. Quiet, often unnoticed, but immense power. Use it gently, use it wisely, use it with curiosity. That feels like a pretty good point to start from, doesn't it? You've got this. Step by step, thought by thought, action by action, right now.